Hello there, it's the beginning of a new week and we welcome you to Breakfast News live on Channel 1 MTV. I'm Arundhati Fernando. Let's start off with a look at your headlines. Juries said that legal action cannot be instituted against the Channel 4 documentary. Meanwhile, the government states that legal action will be taken against Channel 4 network after conducting a broad investigation. Train crashes in Uttar Pradesh kill dozens. The Ceylon Electricity Board trade union state that electricity supply has been curtailed by about 8,000 megawatts. The secretary of the Supply Service Officers Trade Union, Ananda Nimalaratne, speaking to News First, stated that they do not have the ability to supply electricity continuously every day.
He noted that the electricity demand is at about 2,000 megawatts between 6:30 and 9:30 each evening, when electricity consumption is at its highest. However, Nimalaratne stated that they are able to produce only 1,500 megawatts. When News First made inquiries in this regard, Minister Champika Ranawaka stated that this is only a temporary situation. The minister urged the public to give their fullest cooperation in conserving electricity, especially between 6:30 and 9:30 p.m., as attempts are being made in order to bring this situation under control.
On to our headline-making story. Juries state that legal action cannot be instituted against the Channel 4 documentary, which depicts alleged war crimes said to have been committed by the government of Sri Lanka. Former Chief Justice Sarathen Silva stated that if the need arises, complaints can be made to a legal authority in the country in which the Channel 4 television network has been registered. He also added that a defamation case can only be filed against an individual.
Now the question is whether because of the disputed broadcast made by Channel 4 in England, whether the Sri Lanka government can sue for any damage that have been caused for the government as a result of that publication and recover damages or get orders preventing them from further broadcasting. Now here what has to be understood is that when it comes to law, there are certain laws that are and rights that are applicable only to individuals. Now individual has a right to safeguard his reputation and good name. But that doesn't apply to states. States are only mere legal entities. They don't have right to reputation and good name and so on, because they are legal entities. If the state is affected or any other person is affected, they of course can have a complaint to a proper authority in England who has granted the license for the broadcasting station and say some ethics have been not complied with or violated in the publication of false news items. Then that authority will investigate and make appropriate orders. But they can't go to courts on this because there is no question of any personal rights being affected.
Meanwhile, President's Counsel Gominda Asiri stated that legal action can only be taken against Channel 4 network in a private capacity.
My personal opinion is that this kind of issue should not be resolved by court, because the court is not a proper place to resolve. This is an issue that involves a public debate, and the correctness or the pros and cons of it or its falsity should be done on a different medium, namely through the media or public platform or print or by any other form of communication. But however, if a court action is contemplated, I do not see in any way that a case can be brought against Channel 4 by the government of Sri Lanka or the military. Instead, an individual claiming some kind of mental damage or loss of reputation or other injury could file an action in court. But, for example, it can be an officer of the military, but not the army itself or the government of Sri Lanka could not file this action, because an action could be filed, of course, anybody can file an action, but it could be dismissed for technical reasons, namely that the particular person has not been injured in the sense that it is not the government, but an individual who has been harmed.
However, Deputy External Affairs Minister Nirmal Pereira stated that the government has decided to institute legal action against the network after conducting a broad investigation. Also in local news, a British court has imposed a prison sentence on a Sri Lankan suspect in relation to a large-scale credit card fraud. According to reports, the said individual, who is named Murugaya Selvakumaran, was employed at a fuel station in Wales. The suspect had stolen credit card information via a device which was connected to credit card machines at the fuel station. Foreign reports reveal that the suspect has been charged with making illegal transactions from the accounts of these credit card holders using the credit card information. As at February 2009, the suspect had defrauded 41,500 sterling pounds through 517 credit cards and debit cards as well. The meteorological department states that light showers can be expected in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and in the Galle and Matara districts as well. Duty meteorological Chaminda De Silva elaborated further.
Today there will be light showers at several places in the western and Sabaragamu provinces and also in Galle and Matara districts. Thunder showers will develop at several places elsewhere during the afternoon or evening. Weather forecast for sea areas, there will be showers at several places in the sea areas around the island. Winds will be from westerly or southwesterly direction in the sea areas around the island, and the speed will be 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. But the speed may increase up to 50 kilometers per hour at times in the southern, southeastern and also Gulf of Manassi areas. Therefore, southern, southeastern and Gulf of Manassi areas will be rough at times.
That was duty meteorologist Chaminda Silva. And moving on to more local news, the Colombo Municipal Council has taken a decision to register mobile food outlets in the Colombo city. Chief Medical Health Officer of the CMC, Dr. Pradeep Karyawasam, stated that this initiative will be taken to ensure the safety of food that is consumed by the public. He added that a number of mobile food outlets engage in sales in the evenings in various areas within the city limits. It has been decided to deploy food inspectors until 10 p.m. in an effort to assist these services. Meanwhile, the National Fisheries Solidarity Movement states that 8 fishermen who were engaged in fishing activities in the Kalpite Lagoon have been assaulted by a group of members of Defence Forces. Convener of the movement, Herman Kumara, stated that the victims were a group of fishermen from the Gangevade area who were engaging in fishing activities with the use of fishing nets. Kumara added that he condemns the assault on these fishermen. Upon inquiries made by News First, Navy media spokesman Commander Kosala Vanakulasuriya stated that such an incident has not been reported. However, the Vanathavilur police stated that 8 fishermen who had engaged in fishing activities with the use of illegal fishing equipment had been arrested by the Navy and subsequently released on bail after being produced before court. The police noted that investigations have been launched into the assault. Meanwhile, Assistant Director of the Department of Fisheries, Lal De Silva, stated that further investigations will be launched into the incident. And in news overseas, a suspected bomb blast on the railway tracks derailed the Puri Express train in northeastern India's Assam state yesterday. The train was going to Puri city when tragedy struck. Meanwhile, at least 38 people have been killed and more than 200 injured in a train derailment in northern India. 13 coaches of the Kelka Mail passenger train left the rails near Faitapur in Uttar Pradesh.
Rescue workers and locals were working into the night trying to free trapped passengers from the badly damaged carriages. The train was travelling from Horat near Calcutta to the capital New Delhi and derailed at more than 100 kilometers per hour. Reports say that Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh has expressed his deep concern over the accident, the second in a week in Uttar Pradesh, and has directed the railway authorities to use all available resources for the relief operation. Soldiers were deployed to help the rescue effort. The cause of the derailment, about 120 kilometers southeast of Uttar Pradesh's capital, Lucknow, was not immediately clear. The number of people on board was not immediately clear, but reports said that there may have been up to 1,000 passengers. Accidents are common on the state-owned railway line, an immense network connecting every corner of the vast country. It operates 9,000 passenger trains and carries more than 18 million passengers every day.
And in more global news, more than 100 people are missing and feared dead after a tourist boat sank on the Volga River in Russia. Dozens of people were rescued after the boat sank in the Tatarstan region, about 750 kilometers east of Moscow. More than 180 passengers and crew were believed to be on the Bulgaria, which was sailing from the town of Bulgar to the regional capital Kazan. We will have more details of this story later on during the day.